Hello, friends. The 981st day of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. Ukrainian military telegram channel Deep State confirmed yesterday evening the capture of Selidovi by the Russians, as reported yesterday by the Russian Ministry of Defense. The telegram channel also writes about the loss of Yevhenii west of Selidovi. At the same time, the General Staff of Ukraine today stated that fighting is still ongoing for these settlements. Also, since yesterday evening, reports have been coming in about the encirclement of Kurakhove on the approaches to the city of Kurakhove. Ukrainian military writes that the Russians captured the enrichment plant, took up positions west of Kurakhove and the Vovcha River, and many Ukrainian soldiers were taken prisoner. The Deep State map confirms significant Russian advancement in this area and the complete capture of neighboring Yevhenii. As for Kurakhove, it is indicated that half of the village is in the gray zone, which stretches far to the west, all the way to the approaches to Ilinka. A lieutenant of the Ukrainian armed forces with the call sign Alex said today that in the area of Kurakhove and Oleksandropol, where there is a gray zone on the map, the territory is actually under enemy control, and accordingly, these two settlements too. In addition, the fighter Yevhenii reported in the evening that the enemy continues to strike towards Ilinka. According to him, Kremena Balka has already been lost. The Russians are smoothly advancing towards Voznesenka. They have already managed to pass along the railway and occupy part of the settlement. Near Novodmitrivka, we are managing to hold back the enemy. If we fail to hold it, the Russians will push towards Sansivka, which will lead to encirclement of Kurakhove from the north, writes Yevhenii. Attacks to bypass Kurakhove from the south are also continuing. The Russian Defense Ministry has announced that Russian troops have captured Yasna Polyana in the Donetsk region. This is a settlement in the south through which Russia is advancing towards Constantinople with the aim of cutting off the road to Kurakhove from the west. The Deep State map does not show any new advances in the village, but it is completely indicated as under Russian control or in the gray zone. A soldier of the Ukrainian army with the call sign Yevhenii reports enemy advances in the direction of the villages of Rozliv and Maximivka. According to him, the enemy is 6 kilometers away from Rozliv. I think they urgently need to be stopped here, because if we do not have the opportunity to do this, then tomorrow they will wedge themselves into both villages. The Russians have also begun to cling to Trudovi. Assault operations and intense artillery preparation have already begun on the part of the enemy. Winter is already near, and we need to act. If we do not plug these holes, including in the Kurakhove and Selidovi directions, then the Russians will be able to actively break through Kurakhove and reach the Pokrovsk agglomeration, writes the fighter Yevhenii. Russian telegram channels report that the only place on the front where the Ukrainian armed forces are attacking is the Kursk region. They write that Ukraine has recaptured Novoivanovka and is concentrating reserves in the area of Kurakhove in the Sumy region and Sudzha in the Kursk territory. Ukrainian military bloggers also write that the main reserves are being transferred to the Kursk direction. That is, despite the collapse of the front in Donbas, fighting on Russian territory is a priority for the Ukrainian leadership. Zelensky indirectly confirmed this today. He said that Ukraine is ready to use the Kursk operation at the end of the war, diplomatic steps or military tactical steps on the battlefield. That is, Ukraine is not going to give up the Kursk trump card. In this regard, a number of Russian military bloggers suggest that the Ukrainian armed forces are preparing a new large-scale offensive in the Kursk region to show on the eve of or immediately after the American elections that the Ukrainian armed forces can still show results. Whether this is true or not is still unknown, but as events unfold in the Kursk region, it will be possible to judge the real state of the Ukrainian armed forces, which I mentioned earlier. If the Ukrainian front collapses there, it will mean that the Ukrainian army has a very bad situation with reserves. But, for now, as we see, the reserves of the Ukrainian armed forces are being sent to the Kursk region as a priority. Both the outcome of the battle and the timing of its end are still unclear. And as if to confirm the theme that the Ukrainian army must somehow show some success at the front, Zelensky said that the West does not want to give Ukraine weapons without results on the battlefield. It will be difficult to take large volumes of weapons from partners, expecting them to strongly support us. Because in any case, people want to see a really strong army, that the people are fighting against the Russian occupier, and then they support you. And this is a fact. Whether this is fair or unfair, timely or untimely is another question. The most important thing is the result, Zelensky said. Obviously, if Ukraine gives the highest priority to operations in the Kursk region, then it is more likely to try to show results on the front there. Friends, this channel exists solely thanks to your support. If you have the opportunity and desire to support the channel, I will be very grateful to you. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.